Well, as you can see from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about D&D's OGL, and the one that was leaked a couple days ago. I'm throwing my head into the rigor to talk about this, but specifically about what it means for our TTRPG hobby. So, the new OGL threatens third-party content creators by revoking the open license that was existing back since 2000. This leak indicates that it would affect existing works that relied on the license, especially creators who publish on the OGL like Cobalt Press or Arcane Library, or third-party teams are going to be negatively affected by this, new OGL. And several awesome creators have talked about this, and they'll be linked down below, from Critic Crab or Super Geek Mike to name a few, and there's even articles talking about it as well. I'm not a legal expert, nor can I put it as eloquently as many of the other content creators down below, but I want to talk about something a little bit different. Something that got me thinking with, everyone jumping ship from DnD 5e into new systems, or wanting to jump into new systems. I want to focus on what we can do in the now and take actionable steps as individuals and community members. So today I'm going to be talking about one particular question: why you should play something else. So before we go into some actionable steps, I need to talk about what this leak has done for my thought process and what I've seen. This leak has done something weird. It's exposed a major issue of D&D 5e that I didn't have quite the words to describe it, but now I think I do. What is exposed is that D&D 5e is an end-all be-all kind of game. There are people, and I think a lot of people, who will only ever consume, play, write, and produce D&D 5e content, while other RPGs, System Agnostic, Powered by the Apocalypse, or Blades in the Dark, or whatever other non-D&D system you want, get lost in the sauce. I know it might sound dramatic and or silly, but we all know that D&D 5e is a big moneymaker, and it's no shocker that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast are doing this because they want to make more revenue, especially as their sales and everything tanks in their company, specifically Hasbro. And for third-party creators, I don't blame them for being worried. I don't blame them for wanting to, work to stop the OGL. I do too. I don't want that thing. It's going to ruin my fun and experience in playing D&D 5e. However, the problem, I think, is something that's always existed, and it's that D&D 5e takes up so much space that the only viable way to make it, quote-unquote, in the RPG hobbyist content creation field is to produce D&D 5e content. And that is a shame, but it's also extremely concerning, because this wouldn't be the case if people could just play something else and make money off of it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It might be a bit callous or rude to say, oh, just play something else. And you're not wrong. I agree. Why? It's because people's livelihoods, especially third-party content creators, from virtual tabletop creators to people who create homebrew, supplemental material, or even PDFs, are at risk. That could even include content creators on YouTube like myself. It disregards that these creators are likely the worst to be affected by the new OGL. However, I see that there's going to be a new wave of people who want to play different and interesting TTRPGs. Let me be clear for you also. I'm worried. I'm nervous. I'm concerned. I'm scared about the future of, my favorite hobby. D&D got me into RPGs. It got me to start creating videos, and it's also one of the main driving forces around the RPG hobby. But it's also exciting to see people play and want to play new systems. To see people start, create, and run new systems gives me goosebumps. There is this maybe idealistic and hopeful feeling that there will be new, innovative, and creative TTRPGs that will finally get the spotlight that they deserve beyond simply just being mentioned in a top 5 non-D&D TTRPG playlist. Imagine this: a TTRPG ecosystem where you don't only see D&D 5e, where creators aren't pigeonholed to only produce, record, and subscribe to D&D 5e content in order to, meet the viewership that demands it. Imagine you can play any RPG of your choosing and people enjoy your content because it's about TTRPGs, not about D&D. You could play so many different RPGs that already exist or create new ones. From the vibrant and heartwarming Japanese towns of Golden Sky Stories to the sprawling and complex political and magical universe that is Palladium's Rifts, or the dark and dreary world and lore of Call of Cthulhu, or the mecha powerhouse game that's known as Lancer, or the several plethora of power-bit apocalypse games I've talked on here. Imagine if we had an ecosystem where we didn't feel pigeonholed into creating content only for Dungeons & Dragons, and creators didn't feel entirely driven to only produce D&D 5e content. There is hope and fear in that, and those can live in coexistence with each other. I'm worried, and I'm sure some of you might be worried as well, but I know that whatever happens, whether the OGL is revoked entirely or whether we go back, the TTRPG space is changing, and it's about time that we start playing new systems, changing up how we play, and also acknowledging that maybe it's okay to shift our parameters on what we want to play and what we don't want to. And that includes taking actionable steps. The first being to not give Wizards of the Coast your darn money. Try your best to support third-party content creators in all shapes, sizes. If you know that there's someone switching to a new system, donate directly to their website, to their Patreon, whatever have you. If you know that someone's creating something new, support that small-time content creator. If you know that someone's releasing a new system, run that new system. If you know that someone's creating awesome homebrew, support directly their homebrew. Advertise their content, support their content, learn new systems, and subsequently, do your best to share with other friends, family, and loved ones about your favorite TTRPG that isn't D&D. That will help by not giving Wizards of the Coast money or an incentive. It'll show them that what they're doing is wrong. And secondly, it also means donating to whatever capacity you can. Don't be callous and listen to others about their issues. You do not have to stop fighting for the game you love, but I do urge you and others to expand your audience with new content. I can't force you to do anything. I'm sure many people are hurt about D&D and what's happening with OGL. I don't blame you. But you, and only you, can make a decision on what you want to do. I know what I'm going to do, and that's I'm not going to give D&D my money. And neither should you until they shift their stance and ultimately make a stance to never have this happen again. Do what you can and make them aware that we want an open D&D where the OGL ain't at risk. And no, we don't need one game to step up and take over the place of Wizards of the Coast. We should have an ecosystem of RPGs that we all enjoy, and I think this is the start of something beautiful, new, and most definitely scary. Well, you don't have to do this alone. We're learning new systems together, and hope through this channel and subsequently through all the other people you meet, you'll find your place in the RPG hobby. And as always, I'm your average queer host, Bloody Disposition. I'll have links down below in the description on how you can best support the OGL or Open D&D movement. And as always, I'm your average queer host, Bloody Disposition. And Wizards of the Coast, stop being such a dumbass.